Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. In this tutorial, we're not going to do some photography retouching with Lightroom or Photoshop, but we're going to create this. This was done with a software called Unreal Engine, which is amazing and completely free. You have nothing to buy. It's 100% free, and you can create anything. I mean, this is one of the main software that did The Mandalorian. It's been used in so many video game production and movies right now. Unreal Engine, I think, is a really game changer. And I like anything which is graphics. I've been trying to learn 3D forever. I used to do some Blender back in the day. I spent a lot of time learning Blenders. I did a few cool projects, but it was hard. It was long to create something that was really a big universe, a big environment. You know, I love landscape, and I love anything which is creation, from shooting 4x5 cameras to shooting with film, or shooting with my Fuji 100S, or just drawing or doing 3D. Anything that is creation really has my interest, and I think Unreal Engine is so fun to do. I used to play a lot with Legos when I was a young kid, and I loved it. And that's what Unreal Engine is to me. You just can create worlds really fast, and you can even mix it with photography. It's really cool. So in about 1 hour, I'm going to show you how to create this. This is an absolute beginner to Unreal Engine. If you know nothing about Unreal Engine, and if you follow this, I promise you, you will have a good basic to start creating. This is a tutorial I wish I had when I started 6 months ago. Now, I do want to give a shout out to some amazing YouTube channel like Unreal Sensei, great channel, William Faucher, and Pink Pocket TV. This is some of the best YouTube channels to learn this software. I put down the link below. You can create anything with 3D, and I think the world has gone 3D and it's going to go more. It's a great tool to have as a photographer because you can mix it some 3D with your photos, or, and it's just so fun. I'm doing it for the fun. So in about an hour, you will have a good grasp of the software. Let's get started. First thing first, there's a link down below this video. If you click on it, you're going to come to this page. You just put in your email address, and then you put in your first name, last name, password. You click on create an account. Then I'm going to try to sell you an amazing art of black and white with Photoshop course. You can buy it. It really helps support the channel. You don't have to. Once you bought this, or if you create on no thanks, you're going to come to this page in the library on my website, and you're going to have the Unreal Engine for absolute beginner, easy landscape creation. You click on open, and then you can download the source file here, which is what we're going to be using. And I also created a really cool PDF with the most used shortcut, which you can see here. You can do a print screen or you can print it. It's going to be really useful for this 1 hour video. Also, I made some chapters. So if you want to refer back to this video later just to watch a part, you can either click right at the border of the video where you can see the different chapters, or you can click view more with a description, and you can go directly to a specific chapter. It's just made it easier for you, like if you just want to see how to reinstall, or how to export, or how to animate the Mannequin, you can just click directly on the section that you want. All right, so let's get this party started. I'm very happy to be doing this tutorial. I've been, as I said, trying to learn 3D for a long time. So first of all, let's start by the beginning. You need to install Unreal Engine. There's a couple of things you need to do. If you're on a Mac, if you're on a PC, you need to have as I said, you need to have a beefy PC or a very powerful Mac for this to work. Like, ideal scene with a PC is to have an RTX card, and with a Mac, you need to have like a pretty recent Mac. So I'm actually doing this on a Mac, and this whole tutorial on a Mac. So first thing first, you go to unrealengine.com and you click in on sign in, and you have to create an Epic Game account. So for this, don't have an Epic Game account, sign up. I don't believe this whole thing is completely free. Click up on sign up with an email, and you just create your account. It's going to ask you a few questions. Once you have your account, then you can go back to sign in here. So I sign in with my Epic Game account, Photo Surge, and now you can click here to download, because you need to, I advise you to take the publishing license, for example, more than a creator license, free to use, and you can look at the different licenses, but the one I use is publishing license. You click on download now. Once you've done that, you should have the Epic Game Launcher installed. We want to use Unreal Engine 5.0. So for this, you have to go here, Unreal Engine 5, and you have to click here on download early access. Once you've done this, the best thing is to go to my website and download the zip file called Iceland starting point.zip. You unzip it. So on a Mac, you just double click and it's already unzipped. And you're going to have something called Iceland.ue project. You double click on it and it's going to launch Unreal Editor 5.0, which is the latest version. So here we are with Unreal Engine 5 and we are ready to rock and roll. So I want to make this as simple as possible. This is such a big software that I'm going to try to make it as big as possible. But basically here on the left side here, you have what we call actors. Actors is just different things like the sun, clouds, lights, things you're going to put into your universe, into the environment we're going to create. Okay, this is the main window we're working with, and this is like like a Finder or Windows Explorer where you will have all the actors which are already there. Yeah, so by default you are into like a level which is kind of like a third person level. It's like a very simple video game. If you want to play the video game, you can click play here, and you can use your left mouse, right mouse to move around. It's just like a little video game. But that's not what we want to do, so I'm going to press escape to get out of that. So what we want to do is we want to create some kind of like Iceland crazy, maybe it's a different planet environment. So first thing first is we're going to go to File, New Level. We're going to create a new level and we're going to use time of day, because time of day is going to have a whole bunch of things already set up for us, especially in terms of light and clouds and things like this. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this little ball here and press delete because I don't need it, and press this little square thing and delete. Okay. And then to move around your scene, you can right click your mouse to move around, to rotate around your environment. Okay. And you will see, so there's a whole bunch of things there. I'm going to explain what that is. And then you have here, I'm going to take that off. And you have here what the content browser, which is here. Okay. And content browser is very important because that's what's going to, this is where we're going to build all the different parts of our world. So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible and explain you a little bit what we have already in this level. So you got a direction light. Now, if I turn it off and on, you can see there's no more light. It's like Photoshop. The direction light is basically the sun. It's all it is a sun. Now, if you want to move around the sun, the best way is you press Control L and you hold down your Control key, and I can move around my sun. If I go below the horizon, it becomes dark. I'm going to try to put it in front of me so you can see it. Yes. Okay, you see, here's the sun. Here it is. Okay, I like to have the sun in front of me, kind of thing like this. So you just have to practice. Make sure you keep your finger on control while you're doing this and you're moving around the sun. It's already pretty cool. Okay, so that's the first one. And if you want to, rename something to make it easier to remember, you can just click on it and call it sun. When you rename something in Unreal Engine, you cannot add space. Okay, then we have the sky atmosphere. If I turn off and on, it's going to do something weird. That's basically exactly what it is. It's the atmosphere. It's the haze in the air, everything. It's already there for us. Sky and Dome Mesh is, so to show you what Sky and Dome Mesh is, I'm going to turn off volumetric clouds. It's basically a basic sky, which is already there, which is moving a little bit very slowly, but it doesn't have like volume clouds. For some reason, this sort of time of the day basic level has two types of cloud. So clouds that don't move, plus this one here, volumetric clouds that do move and they are like in 3D. Okay, so that's Sky and Dome is basically the sky and some clouds. Skylight is basically, it's hard to explain, but skylight is basically what they call global illumination, meaning it's when the light comes down from the sky, it reflects, it bounces everywhere. If you don't have that, it doesn't bounce everywhere, to make it simple. So that's the sun. And this we can erase. It's just some explanation text which was there. And this we can erase, okay? And then we can call this is like a little folder, just like Windows or Windows Explorer. Let's see if I can rename this. Oh, I want to create a folder. I'm going to call it light. and I'm going to put all of that. Player start, I'm just going to take off because we're not doing a video game. So I'm going to take all of that and put it into my light folder. So I have a light folder, and you will see, I'll go more into details on that. So now we are ready to build our world. And I gave you a starter package, which is here. And in this starter package, you've got a folder called MegaScan. Now, what is MegaScan? You see there's a folder, and when I open that folder, there is different folders in there, okay? Now, this window is very important. It's called a control browser. And if you don't see it, let me take it out. If you don't see it, you can always go here and go to Content Browser 1, and bring it back. So the Content Browser is basically, this is where when we place things, this is where we can actually place like a Lego, everything that we do. Okay, and then, so there's a lot of weird symbols, here. Don't worry about the different symbols. Basically, every folder is a MegaScan that I have downloaded. Now, you may say, what is a MegaScan? So let me show you what that is. So to add a MegaScan, you right-click here, and you go to Add Quixel Content. Now, Unreal Engine has a separate company called Quixel. And Quixel, you have to log in with the same login and password you created at the beginning, is unbelievable. What it is basically, so what is a MegaScan? A MegaScan is some people that actually took photos of object in the real world and made it into a 3D object. So the quality is like a photo. Let me show you an example. If we go here, if we go to collection and we go to environment and we go, for example, to natural, and then we go to Iceland, which is what we're going to be using, you will see there's a whole bunch of MegaScan. So let me take something like this. Check this out. So they actually took photo of this Icelandic mossy rock, and they took photos all around it and made it into a 3D object, which is absolutely crazy. Now, I've already selected a whole bunch of objects that's already in the file for you. But if you want to add anything, let's say I wanted to add this file here, all you have to do, because it's already connected to your account, well, first of all, you have to make sure you sign in with the same login and password you created at the beginning. So boom, I'm already signed in because I've done this many times. Once you're signed in, you need to download this asset. So this one, you see, it's got a green mark. It's already downloaded. So if you don't have a green mark, you click here and it's going to download the asset. Now, actually, before you download, you see here it says medium quality. Let me actually take this one, for example. You want to choose, if your computer can handle it, Nanite. Nanite is basically a new technology that came with Unreal Engine 5 that makes this rocks and all these 3D things look even better. So first of all, choose Nanite, then click on download, okay? And then once it's downloaded, it takes a while because these are big files. That's why you need a pretty beefy computer with some space to do this, because it's like Lego, but everything takes quite some space, okay? See, you can see here it's downloading 58%, 64%, 70%, and it's unbelievable. You got 13,000 assets to play with, from Arctic ice snow, burn forest. I mean, this is how all the modern video games are made, most of them. They use MegaScan, the Canon of Utah, and you can create all these words. I'm going to show you how to do Iceland. If we go back here, you can see you have the name like huge Icelandic lava cliff, Icelandic jagged lava. So this is already in there for you. Now, the reason why it's got weird symbol is maybe it's a bug, but you see if I click and drag and drop it, now you see what it looks like. And it's pretty cool. It's in 3D and now it appears. I'm guessing it, so I'm going to erase it for now. So yeah, you don't have to download this because we're going to build the entire world just with this 5 thing here: Icelandic lava, jagged lava, outcrop, spire. It's just, and if you want to re-download them, what you can do is, like for example, weathered Icelandic lava spire. You can go here, right-click, add Quixel content, and you can search lava spire, and you probably will find it right away. So I already, because you've got the starter pack, you already have, okay, you see that's the lava spire, that's what I downloaded. It's here, I'm guessing, Icelandic jagged rocks, and it's already downloaded, it's already in a project, but in case you didn't have the starter pack, or you want to know how I did it, that's all I did. I just went to collection. I went to Iceland. So first environment, then natural, and then I went to Iceland. And this is where I randomly picked up what I think is good to create my world. Okay, and you can add stuff to it as much as you want. Just make sure when you click on it, you choose 99 first, then you download it. And then everything that you download, by the way, is going to come, it's a little trick, is going to come here to the local. Local means it's on your computer. You see, for example, remember we downloaded this. So now I'm ready to put it into, I can add this if I want to into Unreal. So I just click on this right arrow. Let's see here. Yeah, I only have a low and medium quality. So I'm just going to click this and it's going to add this. You see this Icelandic rock assembly is going to get added right away. Successfully exported one asset. So now if I go here, Icelandic rock assembly, it's here, it's already there. Okay, so that's basically how I did it. You don't have to do it because it's already in the starter pack. So we're going to create this world. First, I want to show you how you can move around. So remember, right click and drag, you can move around like this. And let me add something so we have like a base to work with. So what is that? You see, it's a bug. I don't see what it is, so I'm going to drag and drop it and see what that is. Okay. And so I can move my mouse to zoom in and out, the middle mouse that I'm using. Okay, I'm not going to add that first. I want something that's more flat. Let's see what that is. I'm going to move out. Yeah, these are rocks. No, I don't want to add that first. You can see this is rocks. I want to add something that's a little more flat. Let's see, what is that? No, that's going to be later on. And that's the one we just downloaded. So, yeah, what did I use? Actually, maybe this is what I did use. Yeah, I did use that, I think. Okay, I did use that. So I just dropped this. Now, to move around, as I said, you just right-click here. Now, you can see you have like a little blue, green, and red arrow there. What that is basically, I'm going to go a little bit on top. So if you want to move around, not just rotate, but like go up, and you have to press the left mouse and Q. E, you go up, Q, you go down. And if it's a little slow, here is the speed with which you go up and down. So I'm going to go like camera speed 4. So left click, E, I'm going up, Q, I'm going down. Q is down, E is up, W is forward, S is backward, okay? So, and then right click, you can rotate, and voila. So I want to see that more on top. So I'm going to press E to go down, and then I'm going to rotate down. Yeah, so I can see better. All right. Okay, now the good thing is, now this object, what we can do is I'm going to use the same object to create a base. So the other thing you can do is you can move, and you can move an object. So if you press W, you will see there is some little arrows there. So basically, if I click on this arrow, you see the green arrow moves left to right. In this case, the blue arrow up and down, this object, and the red arrow in front and back. Okay, in front and back. It's very sensitive. Okay, which is cool. Now, what I wanted to show you is so that's W. If you press E, and you don't have so many keyboards to remember, but W, E, R are very important. So W is to move an object. E is to rotate it. So you can see, and you can see it's very visible. I can rotate it on this axis or this axis. I'm going to do Command Z to undo, or on this axis like this, Command Z to undo. Okay? So all I want to do is create a sort of a land for now. I'm going to create a land, so I'm going to press W. Oh yeah, one last thing I need to show you first is R. R is scale. You see, you have like, I'm going to zoom in, you have like a blue dot, a green dot, and a red cube. It's actually cubes. Okay, if I go on the green, see what happens. It stretches the rock, okay? And if I go up, it's going to stretch it up, make it flat, more flat, for example. And then if I go like this, it's going to stretch it towards me or backward me. We call that scaling. Okay, it's actually transforming the object. I'm going to press Command Z to undo. So we're back. All right. So I repeat, W to move, transform, which is moving, E to rotate, and R to scale something. Okay, and that's basically it. We're going to do mostly everything with that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press, now I want to duplicate this rock because it's so random as a rock that I can actually make variation with it to create my ground. So I'm going to hold on the Option key on my Mac and the Alt key on Windows, and I'm going to click one of these here and check this out. It's going to create an exact duplicate of this. And then I'm going to press the E key to make it rotate. I'm just going to randomly rotate it. Okay, I like that. You know, I wish I had something a little more flat actually to start with. So I'm going to add to the starter file, the one you're going to download is going to have it. Let's find something that's a little more flat for our Iceland. Yeah, I think this one, Iceland lava outcrop. Let's see if I have it. Do I have an Iceland lava outcrop? Yeah, that's maybe the one I actually used. Yeah, that one is kind of more flat. But you see, they mix up pretty well. You know, they mix up completely well. And you can randomly post, you know, make them go. You can make them a little bigger also, you know, by rotating, by scaling. I'm going to scale them a little more. So I show you a trick. You can scale using this thing, or you can scale here. You see, you have a location, rotation, scale, the same thing. So let's say I want to make this bigger. Because I have this unlocked, when I scale any axis, it makes everything, it scales everything. So this one, I'm going to make it a bit bigger like this. And I can rotate it on the Z axis. So Z axis is the blue. It's like the axis which is up. And then you have the Y axis, which is the green one. So it rotates around that. And then you have the red, which is the X. So it rotates around that axis. But don't worry about all that. Right now, we're not going to do so much. The only rotation we're going to do is on the Z axis, meaning we're going to rotate like that, things like this, you know. It took me a while in 3D to understand this 3 axis because it's, you know, it has the depths, but you will see it's pretty easy to understand. So I'm actually going to use that as my base for my ground a lot. So I'm going to rotate, but I like to do it with the gizmo. They call that a gizmo thing. I like to do it like this. So I'm going to take this, press W, and hold on the Alt key to create another one. Now, every time you create a duplicate, make sure you rotate it so it doesn't, because it's going to look too much the same. Like you can rotate it like this, and then you can reposition it. Okay, that's good. And I'm then going to do that again. So Option, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to create a duplicate. And when you create a duplicate with Alt, from my understanding, and I'm a newbie at this software, it takes less memory. So I'm going to rotate this. W to go back to transform. I'm going to take the red this time, press Option. So I'm going to rotate it towards me. And it's creating a really random, you know, sort of ground, which is what we want. And I'll show you a way to go much faster. Okay, but very important, make sure you rotate every time. Otherwise, it's going to create like a pattern that's going to be visible. When you rotate, it's going to make it more random. So it's really W, E, W to transform, and E to rotate. So rotate, W, and then make sure you use the Alt key to create the duplicate every time. And I'm telling you, I've been trying to learn 3D for so many years. This is by far the most easy software I ever use. What I'm going to show you in the video is what I use like 90% of the time. You know, there are some more advanced stuff that I'm not going to show you, but voila. Now check this out. So now we've got like a little base, right? Now I want to go much faster. I'll show you a really cool trick. So this is all the rocks that we added. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say move to create a new folder. Move to create new folder. Move to create new folder. Just to be organized, let's call it rocks. Okay, now they're all in the rocks. And then I'm going to take the first one. I'm going to take the last one. I'm going to select it. And check this out. I'm going to press W. And you see I still have the arrow here. And check this out. I'm going to hold down the Option key. And now I am basically duplicating everything at once. But remember, press E, rotate it so there's no pattern. Okay, W again. And I'm going to create a new copy. Put it maybe over there. Voila. If it's far away, you don't necessarily need to rotate. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I repeat, number one, you hold on the Option key, you click on one of the axes, it creates a duplicate. Then you press E for rotate and you rotate it. You rotate it. And that way it just goes much faster, and it's called like a MegaScan. And you can do it again. So I can go on top and go at the bottom and reselect everything, press W. Are you ready for it? And hold on the Option key and boom, we go much faster that way. And press W, E to rotate. It's like, I think they call that a mega assembly. W, boom. I'm gonna put this here. And then I'm gonna press Alt again, W, E to rotate. I don't know why they said E to rotate. Like, it makes no sense why it's W and E. I'm not sure. Anyway, and then I'm gonna hold on the Option key one more time. E to rotate. E to rotate makes no sense whatsoever. But you know, it is what it is. Okay, but check this out. Now I gotta let's explore. So remember, W to move, Q to go down, E to go up. Apparently, most video games have this shortcut. I don't play so much video games, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna look at it closer, and I got like a really random sort of Icelandic rock. Let's do one more time. One more time. Holding the Option key, and let's put it here. Isn't that pretty cool? I mean, and it's so realistic because it's really based, you know, on the ground. So now I want to add some rocks in the foreground and in the background to give more depth. This was just like the basic terrain. Okay, so let's look what we could add. I mean, we only used like 2 rocks, and check this out. What we did was 2 rocks. Yeah, I like this rock. This rock I'm gonna use a lot. So this rock here, I am going to add one here. I'm maybe gonna make it bigger. Remember, so when I use a scale, I like to use that, and then E for rotate. I'm just used to that, and then W to transform. Okay, it's really, you know, I played Lego most of my childhood, and I really love Lego, and this is really like the feeling that I have. It's like playing Lego. So same thing. This one I'm gonna make like a wall. So I'm gonna move in a little bit. I'm using my middle mouse to move in. So hold on the Option key. Boom. I'm gonna create this. Remember, we need to rotate, otherwise it's gonna look too similar. W, and then maybe this like this, and then Alt again. Voila. We need to rotate. Well, you don't have to rotate a lot, but rotate goes a long way. A little bit of rotation goes a long way. Okay, let's see here. What else we have? Why don't we use this rock that we just downloaded? Yeah, let's use that. That's kind of cool. Make sure you just blend it. Oh, you see, it's. I have to move it. Oh, it's actually a small rock, which is fine. So I'm gonna make it much bigger. I'm gonna go here and make it much bigger. And don't try to scale rocks which are too close to your camera, because that's gonna look kind of weird. Like, people will be able to see it. But if it's far away, it's kind of cool. Okay, and then let's see what else we got here. Oh, we got a cool one there. This one is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna make this one maybe go here, much bigger, because I'm gonna play with the sun. Let's move back a little bit. Yes, E to rotate, W, bam, 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 bam. I'm gonna make this a bit bigger. Yeah, and it's kind of cool to also have layers here. Now, as soon as I bring it down, it mixes with everything. I'm gonna move away like that, sorry. So, S to move back. Okay, S to move back, and my camera speed is at 3. Okay, I need to put some rocks here in the foreground too. Let's see, what do I have? What can I put? Let's put here, this can be kind of cool. All right, W, E to rotate. Yeah, that's kind of cool, that's perfect, that's what I wanted. It's like, it's a nice wall, you know, just to sort of play around this, and then use the Option key here, and then let's rotate. Remember, we rotate every time. Oh, this one we can't rotate so much because the back is like an empty. It's like in, you know, theaters, it's empty in the back. Okay, but that's fine. We can still put this one here. Okay, so we have like a, and then let's see here. I already created this thing before, but you know, it's so random. So every time I create it, this is my third, you know, trial to make a tutorial on this. Okay, and I think I want to I love this rock here. I'm going to add one here just to have some kind of shape sticking out here. Voila, just maybe a bit lower. Okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And now I think what I want to do is I want to have a big mountain in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to go up. So remember E to go up, E to go up. And I'm going to put this way, way, way in the back like that, like way in the back. And then I'm going to scale like 10. Bam, make it really big. You will understand why in a second. It's going to basically, I'm going to make it big like this. I'm going to pretend it's kind of like a mountain. Let's make maybe another one here. Okay. I'm sorry. So if you click anywhere outside and you left, and it's going to rotate the whole thing. If you click on the thing, it's going to rotate just that. Okay, cool. All right. So now I kind of like what I did, and it should be enough for what we want to do. So now we're going to add a camera because we are photographers, and place exactly, to fine tune this. So to add a camera, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to cinematics here, and I'm going to create what we call a level sequence. A level sequence, and let's call it Iceland Mars, just for the fun of it. Iceland Mars, save. Okay, I have a second window is putting this here. So if I want to put this, I'm going to click and drag this here. Voila. So it's there. So we have the content browser here, and we have this, what we call a sequencer. Okay, the sequencer is basically what's going to help. It's like basically like an editor. Like Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve or iMovie. This is what the sequencer does. It's like an editing software. So let's place a camera. So to place a camera, you just click here. Boom. And here is a camera. Look at that. Now, what kind of camera do we want? So if you, on the right side, you have all the properties of that camera. So the first thing I want to do, you see by default, the film back says 16:9 digital film. I don't want that. I want DSLR because I'm used to DSLR. It's going to make it bigger, and 2.8 is fine, but I want to have like a 24 millimeter, and I want probably a 1.4, just like in photography. 1.4 is going to make that we have a bit of shallow depth of field, which is cool. Okay, now you see here. I don't know if you can see because it's blue, but when you click on that, you can see what the camera sees. And now when I'm moving what the camera is doing. So I'm going to Q for go down, W to come forward, E to go up. I'm looking for something nice like that maybe. And then I'm like, okay, this rock, you got to move a little bit on the right, my friend. Yeah. Okay, this one is too repeating, so I'm going to make it lower. Voila. Okay, this is kind of cool. I kind of like that blocking. Voila. And so we got a camera. Yeah, we got a camera. So now that we got a camera, we have to do something about the lighting because it's not the mood that I want to go for. So first thing first, I'm going to add some fog. Fog is one of the, I think, the biggest power. Oh, maybe if we have this rock here on a little bit on the side. One of the biggest power that makes everything looks cool is fog. So I'm still moving my camera, and to add some fog, you just go here and you tap fog. And you have something called exponential height fog. That's what we want. You click and you drag and drop it and wait for it, and bang, you got fog. You got fog. Now you see there is a little arrow up. If you go down like that, it doesn't do much. It doesn't do much, which is fine. But we got fog. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do on this fog is too blue. So I'm going to go to this here called fog in scattering color, and I'm going to make this black. So I click on this and I just make this black. What it does is going to take sort of like the fog out for now. Okay, and you see directional in scattering. I'm going to go and do the same thing, black. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is, now it's kind of weird. I'm going to add some fog density. And I'm going to go here, and there's a lot of settings. I'm going to go here into volumetric fog, and boom, now it starts to be good. Volumetric fog is basically like 3D fog, which is what we want, okay? And the reason why I took these colors down is that basically instead of the fog having a color, it's going to let the sun do its thing. Okay, so which is pretty good. Now I want to position the sun in a better place. So maybe I'm going to move this around. That's it. That's the part I love the most. I can move this around. I can actually move this further away. So to move it further away, I can just go up to see where I am. I want to move this further away, like really much away. And then I want to blow it up like maybe to 100 or even more, like 1,000. Well, maybe not 1,000, like 500. But it's going to be so far away that it's just going to basically, so I have to reposition my camera. Okay, I'm going to reposition my camera. It's fine. What it's going to do, I'm going to click on something else while I do that. It's just, it gives more depth. It's like, oh, there's a mountain. You know, it gives like some perspective to our world. All right. Okay. All right. So the next thing we need to do is let's position the sun even better. So I'm going to go here. Maybe I want to position this here. Let's position the sun maybe right behind that rock, for example. So remember, to move the sun around, you press Control L, and then the sun moves with your mouse. It's very random. Okay, here is the sun. I want to put it exactly here. Like here, something like that. And now, look at that. It's really making it much nicer. Like really much nicer. I actually really want to maybe move that around. I don't, W, make it big. Let's see here. Why don't we scale it a little bit just on one side, if we can. Like let's add like 1,000. Just, you know, this is just for W. So sometimes you have a bit of a lag. Like I press W and it's not coming. You just have to wait for it. I just want to put this, and I'm going to maybe reduplicate it and put one here. W, rotate. I don't know if you even see it. Yeah, you kind of see it in the back, but okay, cool. So now we got the sun, which is there. I kind of like that. And we can adjust other factors. So we can go here to the clouds. And you see here, layer bottom attribute is at 5. So let's see what happens if we go up. Is it nicer? If we go down. Yeah, maybe I kind of like that. And layer heights, which is at 10. Same thing. It does. I'm not an expert in this layer thing like that, but and every time it's very random. Every time it's very random, and we'll retouch the color. It's a little too yellow to me. That rock looks weird. That rock looks weird, so I'm gonna make it go down a little bit, like that. Okay. And voila, it's already looking pretty impressive, right? So let's see here, what else can we do that can be fun? I think, hold on. So remember, Control L, and then you keep your finger on Control. Okay, I want to put the sun behind that rock because that's what I was doing, but okay. Maybe here, let's put the sun like more in the middle. As you go down, it's going to be more and more sunshine. So, and the volumetric sometimes get in the way to see the sun. So I'm going to show you a trick to make the sun bigger. You go here and you go to source angle and you make this bigger. And now you will see when we can see the sun. Oops, sorry. And also I'm going to take volumetric clouds and I'm going to take them out for now. And you see, boom, big sun. So Control L, you click on anything and then you press Control L, and now you can move the sun. And you see here is the sun. I think like that is pretty cool. Like that is pretty cool. And then let's put back the volumetric clouds. Volumetric clouds. Okay, why not? And then I want to reposition the camera. I want to go up, maybe looking up like that. But it's kind of annoying me because I don't see the sun. I want to see the sun. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to get rid of the, let's see. I'm just moving around trying to find something that I kind of like. All right, maybe we can make this a little higher. Yeah, I'm going to make this bigger. oops, like bigger like that. Yeah, maybe. You see it's hiding the sun. It's kind of cool. All right. So it's a lot of trial and error process. Volumetric clouds, if I take them out, the sun is like that. But I like it more with that. So again, Control L. And I'm just going to play around with the sun. You see the sun is going behind the cloud. So let's see. Let's see if we can do something about these clouds. Again, I'm not an expert, but I just usually play around with that. Layer altitude. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I want to be able to see the sun. So something like that is kind of cool. Something like that is kind of cool. Right. And now we are ready to make a little animation. Okay. I'm going to go back to my sun. I'm going to make it smaller because 5 is a bit big. I'm going to make it like maybe, like 2. 2 I think is good. Or you can just go here and press 2. And voila. Or you can go here and it's going to push the default value, but I want to make it bigger. I'm going to make it 2. Okay, cool. So now we have the sun, we have the rock, we have everything. I want to do a little animation and then we'll do some color correction. So animation, remember we have a camera here, okay? So this is called a cinema camera actor. And so what I'm going to do is I like this position. So I'm going to go here. You see where it says transform. That's the position. And you see here there's an arrow and there is another arrow. I'm going to click. So make sure that this is my animation. It starts from the green point and goes to the red point. Now before the animation start, about here or -9 for example, I want to put in what we call a keyframe. So I'm going to click one time. It's going to make a circle. And that circle is going to say, okay, that at this point of time, at -9 frame, this is our camera. Now I'm going to move all the way after that. And I'm going to move my camera using, so remember to move the camera, left click, and I'm going to go D for left, something like that. And then maybe rotate it a little bit with my mouse, something like that. Okay. And then let's go back to sequencer. And you see now I'm here, I moved my camera and I'm going to press transform. And now comes the magic of cinema. Look at this. I go here and I press play. And in real time, you can see that's moving. Now the problem is that we need to make the sun go down a little more. So because I really want to have Command L. I want the sun to go like that here. Voila. And we get a nicer yellow also. So let's check it out. And I want the sun to, I want the shadows like that, the shaft of the shadow to go like that, which is kind of cool. I think I'm going to move that rock just a little tad like this so it goes even faster into the shadow. Let's see it again. You just click here, you press play. Yeah, I like that. Now I want to add more fog. Okay, remember. So to add more fog, you have 2 places where you can add fog. You can go here. We need to put our fog in our light group. So find the fog, which must be all the way at the bottom, somewhere here. And then you right click and you say move to light, which is the folder we created. And then we go back up here and now it's in light. So I can add the fog here. I can even add like 1, which is going to add like a lot of fog, which is too much, or 0.5. 0.1 is still, it's already like a lot of fog. A lot of fog. Let's see here. It's pretty cool. Or you can go back to the default setting, which is much lower, like 0.005. And then there's another place where you can add fog. You go to sun. And you see here where it says volumetric scattering intense. I can add this. And this is basically saying it's adding 3D fog, which I like more. And you can even edit this. I can go like to 10 or maybe 5. And check this out. And now I really wanted I love the fog. Some crazy, crazy fog going like that. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah. I love it. It's different from the one I did originally, but I love it. Okay. One thing that I see, because I have the example, I have this rock. I'm going to duplicate this rock with the red on the red axis to put it behind. I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to make it much bigger So maybe like 10. Because on the original thing, oh, sorry, Command Z to undo. Make sure that it's locked. So then Command Z to undo. Voila. I want to just press 10 and make sure that the lock is closed. So it's going to do on all X's. Yeah, perfect. And now I'm going to bring this back like that and make it and go behind like this. Voila. Maybe move towards me a little bit. Go down here. So we have like some kind of shadow. E to rotate it a little bit. I don't know. In my original thing, I did that, and this one I made much smaller. Just looking at my reference. Yeah, that's kind of more cool because it gives like, yeah, I like that. Ooh, I like these rocks in the back. I love it. It's crazy. It's crazy how cool this is. Okay, now let's have a little robot walk into our scene. You see how fast that was to do? This is so crazy. I love it. I can't. All right, so now we got a pretty cool animation. I want to add just a little robot running into it. And so for this, we go to Content Browser, and we're going to go to Mannequin, Character, Mesh. Okay, you see Content, Mannequin, Character, Mesh. And the one you want to take is called SK Mannequin. Do not take the one called Physics Asset because it's not going to work. So I'm going to click and drag this into my scene. I'm going to put it pretty close to me. Not on this rock, but just behind that rock. Voila, I'm going to make it rotate. I want to make it much bigger so we can see him. Something like that. Okay, cool. And now I want to animate it. So I'm going to go back to my sequencer. I'm going to click my mannequin. I'm going to drag and drop it here. Okay. And so right now we just have the camera moving. What I want to do is I want to say, so I'm going to go before the animation, like way before the animation. I'm going to let's go to W. Let's move him here. And I'm going to say, I'm going to click here. You see it says transform. I'm going to click here and put a keyframe. A keyframe is saying that this is where, at this point of the time, this is the position that it has. Then I'm going to go at the end of my animation and I'm going to move my mannequin like this, for example, and maybe like that. Voila, maybe a little lower. Voila, and I'm going to say he's here now. So I added a keyframe here. You see, it's a round keyframe. Now, I don't want a round keyframe. Well, I'll show you why after. And now he's moving here. So check it out. If I play the animation, he's like sort of flying on the floor, which is kind of weird, especially with such a rocky thing. So now we want to have an animation. And you see how he goes fast at first, and then he goes like a little bit slower at the end. I don't like that so much. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go to linear on this keyframe, and that's just going to make it that his speed is constant, and right click here on this keyframe and make it linear. So now he's moving but at a constant speed, which is what I want. Okay, now it's time to make him walk, and that's very simple. You see here it says animation, just click on the plus, and you got a whole bunch of pre-programmed animation. We just go to walk, and then you can see now there's like a square magenta thing that has been added, but then as soon as we add, he's not walking anymore. So you just click and drag all the way and check this out. Now our animation is complete. We have a robot walking in the sun and with a lot of fog, and it could be from Iceland, it could be from Mars. It's a cool animation. So it's time now to export this beautiful animation. So the easiest way to do that is we go here, click on export, and we have this window here. So the first option is image output format. I'm going to put image sequence. Oh, by the way, I'm going to show you two ways to export. One that has a little more quality than the other one. Oh, but before we export, we need to make sure that our focus is good. I forgot to do that. So what I mean is that I want to make sure, because remember we're at 1.4 on the camera here. I want to make sure that this guy is in focus. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the camera, and I'm going to go here in details, and I'm going to tap focus. It's just a little trick when you have like a lot. This is all the properties of the camera. It's really overwhelming. There's a lot of properties. So to go to the one I want, I know it's called focus, so I just type focus. And focus distance, I show you there's two ways of doing it. I can click here and click on the man here, and now it's going to focus on that, which is a good way. And I can also click here, draw debug focus plan. Check this out. If I click on that, you will see in magenta what's in focus, what's not in focus, which is kind of like the focus peaking on a Sony camera, for example. So to take it out, you just click that out, or you can go like this. I can click here, and then the manual focus distance, I can move it around and move it manually. But I actually like the idea of just using that and clicking on this. And then of course you take the debug out. And you see the exposure is kind of getting brighter and darker. I'll show you how to correct this at the end when we do the color correction. Voila. Maybe we do the color correction now actually before exporting. So let's do color correction really fast. So color correction is exactly like Lightroom or Premiere if you've been following my tutorials, or DaVinci. It's the same concept. It's very easy. We have to add an actor called post-process volume. So you just have post, and it's here, and you click and drag it. Now there is something that's really annoying with this. When you drag it first, it's only, I don't know if you can see, there's a little square around. It's not going to work for the whole game. And so for this, the first thing you have to do when you put it, well, first maybe right click and move it to the light group so we know where it is. You can go here and look for the property called a bound. Bound, and you see infinite extent bound. That just means that you want this retouching basically to apply to our whole universe. Okay, that's all it means. All right, so now that's good. And what do we want to do? There's so many properties, it's so annoying. So what I do is I just want to add some contrast. So fine, let's go to contrast and global contrast, and maybe just add a bit more contrast. See, I can go crazy, or just and so when you add contrast, it adds color, so which is fine. So maybe let's take some color out. So you can go to saturation and just click on global saturation. Same thing, and you just move this back maybe a little bit. Let's play with the white balance. Let's go to white balance. White, just type white. And so it's exactly like Lightroom. So temperature, if you go left, it's going to add some blue. And if you go right, it's going to add some yellow. So, just do something that you can like that. And then tint is exactly like Lightroom. If you go left, it's going to add some green. If you go right, it's going to add some magenta. Let's put it back to its default value, which is 0. Maybe add a bit of magenta in the honor of all the magenta I've been, and maybe a bit some more yellow. Voila. Now, we want to deal with the exposure. We can change the exposure at different places, but I like when I export, and to make it just simple, just click on the post-process volume, which is here, and tap exposure. Exposure. And the first thing we want to do is metering mode. We want to go not to auto exposure, we want to go to manual. Everything is going to go black. And now you click here on exposure compensation, and that's just the quantity of light you want to get in, and you just, this way it's not going to move, it's going to be fixed, and you can decide how you want it. I kind of want it maybe like that, and voila. And now we did some color correction, and we're in focus, and we are ready to export our beautiful, nice animation and post it on the web. Okay, so how do we do that? So, well, I'll tell you how do we do that. We are now going to export this. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to export it: a quick and dirty way and a more quality way. So let's do the quick and dirty way. You just click here on export. You choose PNG because we're going to create an image sequence, and I'm going to show you in DaVinci Resolve, which is a free software, on how to do that. It's super easy. You need a software like this, and DaVinci is free, so you might as well use it, which is a really powerful editing software. So image sequence, resolution, I'm going to go 1920 by 1080, or let's go 4K. We're going to go 4K. Output directory, I'm going to go to the desktop, and I already created a folder called Iceland's quick export. Okay, we're going to use Iceland quick export, open, voila. And we are ready to go. So I'm going to click on capture movie. It's going to say to save the level in case it crashes. And it's going to give you some weird frame at first because the engine needs to warm up. You see, I forgot to make it warm up, which is kind of annoying, but it should be fine. Look at that. And look how fast it's running every frame. You can see in real time. And it's pretty good quality, but I'll show you a way to make it even a better quality. animation in just a second. And basically, as it does that, you can see here, every frame is a photo, and the first frame are kind of weird because the engine needs to warm up. It needs about like 10 frames to warm up. About 10 frames to warm up. So you know what? I'm going to erase all of that, move to trash. Let's warm up our engine. I forgot to do that. So let's click here. You see now it's dark because I have to go back here on the camera. You have to make sure this is blue so you're on the camera. Okay, and then let's click here again. And we can add some warm up here. Warm up frame. Oh, there is already 10. I added some warm up. Oh, that's why there was 10 warm up. Okay, cool. Sorry, so there was some warm up. This might be 0, so add 10 frames and then 1 second, capture movie. Let's do it again, really quick. And it's going to export. Yeah, my bad. It's actually, and I'll show you when we go into Vinci Resolve, we won't use the first frames. We're just going to use a nice animation. And then we get, it's pretty fast. You see, it's exporting pretty fast. But the quality is okay. We can get a better quality because there is a new feature called the movie render queue that we're going to be using. I'm going to show you how to use it really quick. So for the first thing you need to do is, let's click here. Every time you export, it's going to look weird because you have to click here back on the camera to see what the camera sees, and everything is back to normal. Okay, so we have to put in a plugin, which is very easy. Don't worry about it. You just go to Edit, you go to Plugin, and you tap Movie. Okay, by default, I think it's off. And make sure you have Movie Render Queue that it's enabled. It's going to ask you to restart your level, which is totally fine. You can restart your level. Okay, so once you restarted your level, what you want to do is you go to Window, Cinematics, and you go to Movie Render Queue, and I'm going to drag and drop this here. Okay, and that's just, I'm just going to show you a few settings, just follow along, and I'm going to try to explain them, but it's just the idea is to get a bit more quality. So I'm going to go here, we're going to take Islands Mars, that's the sequence we want to render, and I'm going to click here on Unsafe Configuration, and so it's different steps. The first step I want to do is add, just like we did before, a PNG sequence. And then I'm going to erase the JPEG sequence. And this thing that's going to make it look nicer is this thing here called anti-aliasing. So what is anti-aliasing? Basically, anti-aliasing is a way for the computer to render something kind of fast, and we want to deactivate it. So all I'm going to do here is going to go here with a spatial sample, leave it at 1, and temporal spatial sample, put 32. Okay, you can put 64 if you want, or you can put 16, for example. 16 is good enough. It's going to make it faster. And you click here on Override Anti-Aliasing. We don't want an anti-aliasing, and anti-aliasing method none. It's just saying, to make it simple, it's just saying it's going to make a nicer image, because this anti-aliasing is kind of an old technique that has been used to make rendering nicer. But this new technique is better. Okay, that's just what it is. And then output, we want to go 4K like we did before. So 1920 multiplied by 2 is 3840, and 1080 by 2 is 2160. So that's 4K. And basically that's the only thing that we need to do, I'm guessing, if I don't forget something. Well, I click on accept, and now sorry, you need to also, I forgot to do something here. We need to say where we want to put it. I'm going to put it on the desktop. I'm going to go to, I create a folder called Iceland Render Queue Export. So we have the quick export and we have the Iceland Render Queue Export. And then I already did a test. So, but that's fine. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to click on accept. And then I'm going to click here on render. I'm going to save first because sometimes it crashes on this step. So, and if this doesn't work for you, it's fine. You can use the first way we got it out is fine. And I'll see you on the other side because that's going to take a bit more time. Render view, that's going to take like maybe 5, like you see how fast it was before. This is going to take maybe like, about 10 times more time, but it should be better quality. Okay, so while this is exporting, you see it's exporting, I'm only at 67 frame out of 150. I went into Photoshop and I stack up. So the frame on the top is from the movie render queue, and the one is what I call the quick export. If I zoom in, check it out. So this is the movie render queue. If I take it out, you see the quick export. Look at the difference. Look, this is movie render queue, much sharper. The motion blur is really nice. And this is the quick export. So quick export is not as good. You see the anti-aliasing, it makes this little weird things here. So we took it out and it's much cleaner. So it is really better. Voila. And then the next thing is we're going to use a software called Vinci Resolve to create our movie. So you can just download it. It's completely free. You just type, there'll be a link. We just type download Vinci Resolve. It's incredible. It's a full editing software. I actually made a video about it. You can see it here. There's a link down below. There's a full tutorial showing you how to do it. In 20 minutes, you can be up and running. It's such an easy software to use. You can click here on download them now. The one you're looking for is Vinci Resolve 17. That's the one that's completely free. Mac OS, Windows, and Linux. And you just install it. And then here I am into Vinci Resolve. Let me launch it here. Here I am in Vinci Resolve. So I'm just going to, this is a whole bunch of other projects that I did. I'm just going to click here on new project. And I'm going to call it Unreal Engine Iceland. Okay, create. And so the way Vinci Resolve works is you've got different workflow. I'm not going to show the whole software again. I have a full video on how to use it. But we're just going to go here to edit. Okay, edit, and it says no clips in the media. And here I'm going to open the Finder. And so remember, we have two. We have the quick export, and then we have the render queue export. It's still exporting now, so I'm going to use a quick export. And I'm going to click. I'm going to press Command A or Control A to select everything, and I'm going to drag and drop it here on the media pool. Okay, and boom. Check it out. What it did, it already made a movie out of it. And if you want to see it here on the timeline, which is where we can do some stuff with it, we can right click and create a new timeline using this clip. Let's call it Iceland, Mars. Okay. And now I can zoom in with my middle mouse using the Option key or the Alt key in my middle mouse, and I can play my video, and it's here. So it's moving a little slow because it's 4K. It's really high quality 4K. All I'm going to do here is I want to cut out the beginning. That's kind of weird. So I want to see when it's not weird. Yeah, here it's not weird. Okay, so what you can do is you can go here like this. Boom. Voila. And then voila, and it goes until the end. And so to export it, I'm going to go here. And this is the export section. I'm going to call this Iceland. I'm going to call this Iceland Quick Export. Okay. Because that's what that is. I'm going to put it on the desktop again. I'm going to go on the desktop and I'm going to call it Final, create a folder called Final Videos. I'm going to put it here. Final Videos, for example. Boom. Boom, 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 boom. And on this one, I'm just going to click. So I'm ready to export, add to render queue, start render. And it's going to go really fast. It's going to render. And then I can go on my desktop because it's already going to be there. Final Videos. And it's here. I can double click. And let's watch it. Command F to go full screen. And let's watch it full screen. And it's pretty good. But you see it's a little bit blurry. We'll get a better result on the other one. Let's see if the other one's already finished exporting. I believe, no, you see 144 out of 150 frame. It takes more time. So I'm going to pause it until it's done. Okay, it's done. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to drag and drop now the quality one. So render queue export, same thing. Command A or Control A on Windows, drag and drop here on the DaVinci. Oh, sorry, here. Drag and drop here. Right click, create a new timeline. I'm going to call this Iceland Mars quality or render queue. Okay. Create. Same thing here. I'm going to see if there is any warm-up frame. There is one warm-up frame, maybe two, just one. So I'm going to go and just cut that. Voila. So we're going to go here And same thing, I'm just going to go, I'm not going to touch anything. I'm just going to say where I want it. So let's call it Iceland quality export. Voila. In the same folder, final videos, add to render queue, start render, and it's going to go pretty fast. All right. Looks like I have the feeling there was some black screen at first. Let's zoom in. I'm going to look. Yeah, there was something. Yeah. Okay, let me re-render it again. Sorry about that. So add to render queue, replace, and re-render. Start render. Yeah, what I did is I forgot to, remember when I took the 2 frames out, I didn't bring my clip back. I thought I did, but I did not. Again, watch my tutorial on DaVinci, link is down below. So now we should have both final videos. Let's take the quality export now and let's watch it. You won't see much difference. It's just the robot is a bit more clear. Oh yeah, I can really see the difference on my screen. But voila, that's basically that's how to use Unreal Engine. I hope you enjoy this. All right, guys, I hope you like this. I hope you survive to this. I want to make a game with you. If you manage to do any creation with the Unreal Engine, just post it as a story on your Instagram and tag me at @photosurge. And the nicest project I will share to over 120,000 something followers. And maybe you're going to get some more followers from it. Also, if you can smash that like button, it makes a big difference for me if you can do it. If you've survived so far, smash that like button. I hope this gave you a new tool for creation. I think creation is the one thing. It's the one thing that makes me the most happy, whether I'm drawing or creating 3D or taking photos or shooting film. I love to create. It really makes me happy. I hope it does make you happy too. And I will see you in another video.